Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for December 22nd, 2016. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. We obviously have a couple more sessions here until the holiday in the US. We have Christmas on Sunday, so Monday will be a market holiday. This will be the last pre-market report before next Tuesday, where we'll begin again heading into the new year. Here's a look at the daily chart. Right now, we're basically formed our range. So you can see the range right here. That's the range that we're going to continue to watch because that's the range that the market is in at the moment. We've traded in the upper distribution of this range, 3+ days above the previous close. If there's any, the previous close from last week, if there's any failure to hold that previous close there at about 55s, that opens up a move back into the low of the previous week. Any push into 40 to 42 could be a short-term opportunity to fade it back up within the range. So right now, not a whole lot to do overall. If we're looking at this on an intraday time frame, we got a little bit of movement to the downside after having one of the tightest ranges ever in the ES. We got a little bit of expansion late in the day, but overall, again, 55 half right here. That's the previous week's close, 55.75. Right now, that's bid. Any failure to hold that level opens up a move, perhaps a little bit lower toward the bottom of the range. Above 61 opens up a retest back toward the previous session's high at 68. Here's a look at crude oil now. Crude oil right here, what you're looking at on a daily time frame is price again, holding near highs, holding within the larger key range that spans from the recent highs 54.50 down to 50. We have a nice midpoint in there about 53.30, and that's kind of where we're chopping right now. We're just holding in that zone. Overall, what I've mentioned before is that the fact that price is holding above 51.67 and 52 in general, that implies acceptance at these highs and continued overall strength, or at least an attempt to continue trending higher. Failure to hold 51.67 opens up a return back to our previous lows around 49.91. But right now, again, the range could be between 51.67 and 54 over the next few days. If we look at the intraday time frame, here it is. The intraday time frame shows a bit of a downtrend here recently, especially after price gave up 53.10. That was the previous week's close. Sell-off occurred from there, and we've been trending down ever since. Price is going to have to reclaim the 52.50 level. That's the previous session's close in order to squeeze back to value at 53. Once you get to 53, we could see some chop around that area. Overall, again, downtrending market right now. We'll see if there's any pace and tempo to begin the day. After forming these lows here, if there's any rejection of these lows, we could see a squeeze through VWAP that brings this thing back toward 53. Here's a look at gold. Again, gold has been quite bearish overall in the higher time frame, has not been able to find a bid, has been, watching these stops come out has just been almost like Groundhog Day, day over day over day. Bulls come in to defend, their stops get run. Bulls come in to defend, stops get run. So right now, we're seeing price holding on these lows. We see a very narrow range. All pullbacks have been selling opportunities into the pivot range. And at some point, if price gives up those 11.25s, expect a big push, perhaps into 11.13 and lower. Our next major key level below is going to be 10.92.70. Lastly, the NQ here. The NQ is trading in a tight range. It's holding above that 4,900 key level and 49.10, as I recall before. We talked about 49.10 being an area to defend for bulls, 4,900 as well. And up top, 49.65, 49.70 is the top of the range, but the fact that we're holding on highs, holding above resistance, implies further overall strength, perhaps toward 5,000 and the upside target at 50.40. Any failure to hold 4,900 could rotate this thing all the way back down the range, so we're going to continue to watch that as well. On an intraday basis, the last thing to talk about here is how price is trading in a short-term range here. For the most part, the range takes you from 49.36 up to about 49.50s, and you see back and forth action. Overall, if price is not able to hold above the upper distribution of this range, say 49.35, you could see this thing rotate back towards support. But for right now, the range is basically between 49.25 and 49.65. There's an impulse range right here. You got to fade the edges of that range today. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the rest of the session. Have a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you all next week. Take care.